Welcome to the Millionaires mini-series with your hosts Stephanie Keith and Stacy Failing, here to set you up with the most luxurious version of yourself. This podcast is filled with wealthy women vibes and a sneak peek into the millionaire's lifestyle. Whether your inner millionaire's dreams of taking private jets to deserted islands or you prefer the lighter side of luxury, we have an opportunity for you that is priceless.
Come join us as we share with you all of our juicy money secrets, mindset hacks, and so much more. Money may not buy happiness, but it can provide you with an abundant life beyond your wildest dreams. So turn up the volume, adjust your crown, and get ready to embrace your inner millionaire-ess. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Millionaire-ess Mindset Podcast. This week, we are talking about the keys that are guaranteed to open the gates of abundance and freedom. And I want to start this episode off just by making you aware that if you are ready to open up the floodgates to abundance and freedom, that our doors are still open for our mastermind, which is a 6-week, very intensive, intimate space where you are surrounded with other like-minded women who are ready for their floodgates to open as well. And you're just there to support one another and level up your money mindset, your beliefs, your fears around money, and allowing yourself to really just open up to the possibilities that are already waiting for you. We're just going to help you speed that process up and allow you to embrace them. So the doors are closing at the end of this month, but you can still grab your seat for enrollment. There is an interest-free payment option, so you can pay over the course of 12 months, interest-free, and then we have a pay in full option as well. So make sure to snag a seat. We are in there with you, doing all the things. So it's a lot of fun. The women inside of our last round just got so much out of it. And we're still in contact. So you really do get so much more out of it than just that 6 weeks. We are giving you tools and tactics that'll keep you going and giving you that momentum to continue building that abundance through the rest of the year. So if 2023 is the year that you want to have abundance and change, make sure to snag your spot. But Steph, let's dive into the 5 keys that we are guaranteed to open those gates of abundance and freedom. And the first one is belief. And that for me was the hardest thing to wrap my mind around. Like, the law of attraction is kind of this arbitrary thing that we can't just grab and we can't see, but it's that belief and having the faith that it's possible for us. And I like to look at it like, any sort of faith is just, you can't see, you don't have that tangible proof, but yet you put your faith in the trust in knowing that it's there to guide you and support you. And this is how the law of attraction works for us when it comes to creating that abundance and freedom, right?
Right. And you know how I love talking about the science behind manifestation, and we have a whole module on that we go over in the mastermind. And I just remember going over that in the last round, and Katie was like, whoa, like mind blown. I'm now connecting the dots. And for me personally, having that faith and like having the belief has always helped when I look at the science. Cause for me, it's just like further confirmation that, okay, this isn't just some woo-woo concept. Like, there actually is a whole reason behind how all of this works. And once you understand that, like, it really does strengthen your beliefs. So that's really what I've used to just remind myself and stay on track and not give up, is, the law of physics and quantum physics and how everything is energy. And what we focus on is what is going to literally manifest according to the observer effect. So I'm not going to get too into the weeds because I could go down a long rabbit hole with that. But I would just suggest that everyone dive into that a little bit and understand a little bit about quantum physics and what's been scientifically proven. Because once you see that, it's hard to not believe it. And it's hard to think that there's any other way.
Yeah. And I like to look at it as, what do you have to lose? Worst case scenario, you're just back where you started. And that hasn't happened for me. That's not the reality, because I have seen the results of that. And the more that I practice it, the easier it is to believe that it's possible, because you start seeing those results coming in. But if anything, you try it and you're just not seeing anything, you don't have anything to lose. It's not going to harm you in any way. It's only there to help.
Yeah, exactly. And the next part of this is creating habits. So, creating habits and developing consistency with your manifestation practice, with your mindset, with the habits and things that you're doing every single day. And I did a podcast episode on my other podcast about this and got a lot of feedback on how it was really helpful. So, I just want to share this analogy. So think about when you're on social media and like, let's say my daughter sends me a funny cat video, which she does all the time. Okay. And I open up the video and like, okay, like I laugh or whatever. And I think it's funny, but then that's it. I'm not commenting on it. I'm not searching for funny cat videos. And the rest of the time I'm scrolling, I'm just looking at other things, commenting on other things. The algorithm is not going to all of a sudden start sending me all of these funny cat videos because I'm not focusing on that. I'm not engaging with it. I'm not spending a lot of time on that. So it's just going to keep sending me the things that I am focused on. But if I all of a sudden am like, oh my gosh, I loved that cat video, let me go look up some more cat videos. And then I start scrolling and just watching all these cat videos and commenting on cat videos, then what's going to happen is over time, the algorithm is going to pick that up, that pattern, and it's going to start putting that in my feed. And next thing you know, I'm going to see cat videos left and right. And so think about how you're showing up in your life. And are you teaching the algorithm of the universe that you're showing up for your dreams and your goals by focusing on them, by talking about them, by engaging with them? Or are you focusing on them like once in the morning and then the rest of the day, you're just going right back into that same old negative mindset and belief system? You're hanging out with people that are totally like unaligned with those types of goals because whatever you're doing the majority of the time is training the algorithm of the universe. So it's a really good question to ask yourself of like, okay, if the universe is looking for these patterns and looking for what I'm focusing on and that consistency, then how can I show up today to make sure that it is crystal clear what I want to manifest into my life? And then whatever that is, go do that and develop a habit with it. Build it into your routine so it becomes a part of you and a part of your lifestyle.
Yeah. And I think that you hit a key point in that, in saying that today, don't focus on, weeks from now, months from now. Where do you want to be in 5 years? I'm all about, writing out my future goals and things, but to be consistent and to create those habits, you really do need to just break it down day to day, because otherwise you'll get really overwhelmed. And it's like any habit, right? Whether you're trying to be healthier, whether you're just trying to get in the routine of flossing, it's something as simple as that habit. In manifesting is no different. You have to practice that every single day. So if you have like a task list or something, or priorities list, write that as one of your priorities for the day, to do something that's actionable to create that consistency in those habits. So I think that's really key, and not getting so worked up and, having to have these habits in place at some point, to just focus on today and get started today and worry about tomorrow when tomorrow comes.
Yep, absolutely.
So then the third thing kind of goes into that, is setting goals. And like I said, it's important to write out your long-term goal and to really make that vivid and as detailed as you can, to help you focus on what it is that you're trying to manifest in the short term. Because what we do is we reverse engineer from there. So say in 5 years, you have a certain income goal that you're looking for, or you want to move into a specific house. You can break that down and work backwards, so that there are little things that you can do every single day, and you can build this into the consistency habits that you're doing, so that you can work towards that 5-year goal. And like, for an example, I've heard somebody that I follow they started using like the address of their dream home in their password. They would do virtual tours of the house. They would walk by the house. They would have this visualization of them, like how they would decorate it, how they would set up the house, and just having their family and friends over. So there are so many little things like that that you can do today to start building that habit and getting you closer to that goal of like, this is my dream home. This is where I want to be. But what can I actually do now that'll get me to that 5-year goal? Steph,
Yeah.
what do
And
you think on
I
goals?
think too, just like we were talking about this the other day, where it's like that whole idea of, wouldn't it be nice? Like, wouldn't it be nice if I could live in a house like this? Wouldn't it be nice if I could make this kind of money every month? And it takes some of the pressure off. Like, you could literally turn it into a game where you're talking about that with, whether you're in a mastermind or you have a friend that's in a manifestation or your spouse is in a manifestation, and you guys can just kind of do this little game and let yourself have fun with it and curating what you want your lifestyle to look like. And one of the things that I always kind of visualize is that, okay, it's New Year's Eve. What am I celebrating? What did I achieve this year that I'm excited about? And it really helps me, put things into perspective and see like big picture this year. Where am I headed? And am I just stuck in the same old routine? And what changes do I need to make? What short-term goals do I need to set so that I can celebrate that on New Year's Eve? So just kind of have fun with it, take some of the stress and pressure off, but don't be complacent either. Like, make sure you're giving yourself a clear goal and dreaming big. Don't settle for mediocre. Nobody wants that, right?
Yeah.
Go big.
And nothing changes if nothing changes, right? So if you have these goals and your habits are the same and you're not taking the conscious effort to work towards that goal, well, then it's expected that that goal is not going to happen. So you have to know that going into that. If you're going to set this goal, there are some actionable steps that you need to take. And that is step 4, is taking messy action. And it is exactly that. It is starting when you're scared. It is starting when you're not ready. We all hear about, if we wait until we have kids, when we're absolutely ready, we'll never have kids. It's the same thing with any goal, in business, in, buying that house. You have to start somewhere, and you just have to take that first step. Otherwise, you're never going to get started, and the years are going to go by. And again, you're not going to see that change because you, in fact, haven't actually taken the action that's going to create that change.
And action is never perfect the first time you
Mm-mm.
do it. You kind of have to expect that, okay, there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. So I want to take action now, because the quicker I take the action, the quicker I will learn and perfect it. But I think a lot of people go about it as like, well, I'm going to wait until all the stars align and everything is perfect. And that's just a lie. Like, nothing is ever perfect. And if you have that mentality, then you're going to be waiting your whole life, because there's always going to be a reason to keep you in your comfort zone. And so you really have to tune into your intuition. And if something's telling you like, hey, I should do this, do it. Like, start leaning into that, because otherwise you're going to be one of these people that wakes up and 10 years has gone by and you're still living the same exact life with no improvement and no movement towards your goals. So just get started, and know it's going to be messy, but every successful person has had a very messy first step. They've made things fail and they've had bumps in the road, but they kept going and they kept taking action, and they eventually hit success. So just get into that mindset of knowing that like, it's okay if things are not perfect. The more action you take, the more it's going to perfect itself. And then step number 5 is support. So this is so huge, so huge. If you do not have a good support system, and if your support system, AKA the people you spend the most time with, are really negative, it could actually be pushing you away from your goals. So you need to find some way to be supported. And unfortunately, not everyone has a great support system in their real life. I know for me, even to this day, there's a lot of people that are in my real life that aren't super into manifestation and don't want to talk about that kind of thing all the time. And I've actually kind of stepped away from a lot of people for that very reason. But I found people online. Like I started looking on Instagram. I started following people that inspired me. I started joining masterminds and coaching programs so that I could have that support system that I needed where I can talk about my goals and people will cheer me on instead of being jealous or making me feel stupid for dreaming big. So we have the whole entire world at our fingertips. And if you don't have a good support system in your life, go find one. Anyone can, like, get creative, join a group, join a Facebook group. But you can find people that are aligned with your goals and are going to help you level up. Like, you can't help but level up if you are around people that are already at that next level.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the biggest thing is, for me, when I started this whole journey in entrepreneurship, is I didn't know anybody, personally, that I could have conversations with and just mastermind with and share my ideas, because nobody was in that space. So I had to reach out and find coaches and programs and courses and really just start from the ground up. But having that support and other people that are going through it with you, or people that have experienced it before you, to kind of help pave the way for you, is huge. Because I still, in my day-to-day, don't have a ton of people that I can have those conversations with that would even be able to wrap their head around what it was that I was talking about. To be effective, and like, relationships and communication should be, open and not just a dialogue, right? Or a monologue, sorry. It should be a dialogue where you are having conversations that you can share the ideas back and forth, not just you talking at somebody and them looking at you with this blank stare and not really being able to provide any support and feedback to your thoughts and ideas. And oftentimes we see that when we are talking about manifesting and setting goals and things, that people are just, nose to the grind every single day in their own space. They're not even thinking about that. They haven't maybe even heard about that. And so to try to find that network of people to support you is one of the most beneficial ways and one of the quickest ways to help you accelerate your goals, because you will have that support to and just to like bounce ideas off of and kind of pick you up when you're feeling like, you've had another failed venture, or you're just, and I don't know, Stephanie and I do this a lot, where our energy is just down and we're like, hey, I'm feeling this. And then you're able to kind of pick each other up through that. And not everybody in our space is able to do that. So definitely.
Yeah, I know we've talked about it so many times before, but we always get that question like, well, what if my spouse isn't on board with my dreams or my goals or manifestation? And that's typically the case. Like, usually it takes a while for them to get on board. And what helps them get on board is seeing you take the action and manifest the success. So it's like, my point of view is like, I don't care if they're on board or not, because I'm not asking permission. I'm going to do what I want to do and follow my dreams and let the success speak for itself. Because as they see you up leveling and doing these things, they're going to be curious of why, and they're going to be more supportive than if you just try to convince someone of something. So I actually never really tell people about my goals until after they've manifested. And the only people that I do talk about it with is my mastermind group, my group of women that I know are going to be supportive no matter what, because they're all manifesting similar things. And outside of that, I really don't say a whole lot until it actually manifests, because I know how powerful energy is. And I don't want anyone to put me down and get me in this negative mindset. So I say again, like, this is why it's so important to find that group, seek out your people that are going to support you and get you through those rough times. And it literally makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, that's such a good point. So just to recap, the 5 things that we talked about was having belief, creating habits and consistency, setting those goals, taking messy action, even when it's hard, even when it's scary, even when you may not feel like you know what the hell you're doing, just tune into your intuition on that one. And then number 5 is seeking that support and having that network around you that you can talk to and go to and manifest with. So again, if you're looking for any more information on this, you're looking for a network to help support you in your goals, make sure that you check out the link in the show notes and join us in the 6-week mastermind. It is really a game changer and helps you up level everything that we just talked about and then some. So we hope to see you inside, and we will see you on the next episode.